This is the Failures Only Podcast.
This is the Failures Only Podcast.
This is the Failures Only Podcast,
where we are embracing the power of failure
by redefining it
and turning your worst moments
into your sources of strength.
I have to get to the finish line. I had people waiting for me.
Yeah.
They're counting on me to finish. I had to. I said, no matter what, I don't care what the time is. I got to get there.
Right.
I got to finish.
Welcome to the Failures Only Podcast, where we are embracing the power of failure by redefining it and turning your worst moments into your sources of strength. Today, we have a heck of an episode for you guys. We have a special guest, a person that I've had the pleasure of seeing his transformation up close. 15 total marathons run. This November will be the 5th time he runs the NYC, 3rd time in a row. Whoa. There's a story behind that.
Of course.
This is also a 2019 Spartan Race World Championship select, right? He was selected to go to the World Championships. For those that don't know what a Spartan race is, look it up. But it's composed of a sprint.
Just Google it.
Super.
Like, Google it. Right. All right.
It's an obstacle course race, and we'll get into that more. But it's 4 miles.
Yeah, they standardize it now. It's
16 miles.
3.1, 6.2, 13.1 and a half marathon. And then now they have the ultra, which is 30 miles in total.
I'm good.
So you do that 13 miles twice.
And Jeff did that shit 3 times on a Wednesday.
Right, exactly. He did 2 this morning before he got here. All right.
Sound like
I'm glad you said that, because if you do all 3 of those in one season, it's called a trifecta.
Correct, yeah.
So I've done that once, like in 2012 or so, a long time ago.
And they have it on the weekends
That
now,
is
too.
very difficult. My man, you're doing that
I'm doing times 8 this year.
8 times
Damn.
in one season.
Yeah.
All right, so that is a lot. That is something. And then you also did, if that wasn't enough, right? Hurricane Heat. 12-hour
Hurricane
race.
Heat, yeah. I think back in 2017, I did a Hurricane Heat.
Wow,
and that was
that's
a 6-hour race. And then I did a 12-hour race.
Yeah.
That was,
147 people started that race. 41 finished.
Damn. Good for you.
So with that,
Let's go.
shout out to Jeffrey Ramos, our guest,
Jeff Ramos.
who clearly doesn't like having fun.
Wait. By the way, that's Carlos. I'm Pablo.
Co-host
That's Jamal.
Carlos Martinez,
Yes, sir.
Pablo Segura, and let's run with it, guys.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's
go.
Let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's jump
Here we
right
go.
into this, man. Thanks for showing up, by the way.
Yeah,
Appreciate
yeah.
you.
Thank you.
We heard that, I don't know how true it was. We heard that you ran from like Boston or something like that to the studio this morning.
Is that why you got here a little
Yeah,
late?
my Uber was running
Yeah,
late,
yeah,
so, you know, I had to
Man,
make
fuck
my
it.
way.
Appreciate you.
Yeah.
I mean, getting right into it, Jeff. We've known each other for a while now.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
passing, right? Family events and stuff like that,
Right.
right? When I first met you, you were this ultra like dude that just down to party.
Yeah.
But then you were an athlete at the same time, right?
Yeah,
You played
right.
basketball, football. You
Right.
were always like messing around in the back, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the next time I saw you, you'd essentially change your entire life
Completely,
and
yeah.
you would become a marathon runner.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right?
absolutely, man. When
What brought on that shift?
yeah, like you said, you know, right in the beginning, it was just like it was partying and doing all these crazy stuff. You know, it's just young. You know, I had so much energy and stuff like that, and it just kind of changed. You know, along the way, you start to experience some things, and I had one kind of a best friend that was like it was my dog, and meant a lot to me. You know, and she was overweight, I was overweight. You know, really didn't take running seriously. I was doing it more just for like cardio.
Yeah.
And but it was in that year, in the beginning of the year, I put my name in the lottery for the New York City Marathon, and I got picked. And that's rare for somebody to get picked.
Seriously.
Yeah.
And so I made a promise to her. I said, "Listen, we're both gonna get healthy. We're both gonna run together, you know, and I'm gonna train for it." And then, yeah, that was back in February, you know. And then come June, you know, she passed, and that kind of hurt me, you know, as a person, because you know it's just like we're doing, you know, we're trying to do much, you know, we're trying to be healthy, and things just doesn't work out.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was actually food that we were putting in our bodies, which
Yeah.
plays a huge thing.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know,
Giant role in what?
yeah, and you know, I feel like, you know, I switched my diet, you know, all that stuff. We'll get into that later. But just that whole mentality of running, going through that motion still, even though she wasn't here, was something I had to be okay with. That she wasn't there. So I made a promise, says, you know what, I'm going to run this marathon and I'm going to qualify for the Boston Marathon. That's my promise. And yeah, just, you know, going into that race still, I was just running mad. You know, I wasn't like really having a full like plan on it. You know,
Going
still
through the
partying,
motions,
you know,
like
just getting my
checking
emotion.
a box.
Yeah,
type
you
of
know,
stuff.
and yeah, so I wasn't taking it seriously. So when I ran the New York City Marathon, that's when it completely like just changed my whole ego, you know, because, you know, mile 22 was coming in and I'm like not prepared. I'm like struggling. And that kind of just showed me like, you know, you can think you're big and strong, but you're not, you know. And
If you're not
It,
prepared, you're not
it
prepared.
definitely humbles you, and also
Right.
side note about that. We're into it right away, and it's a very serious topic. But backstory to that. He had asked me what he should eat. I already had run a marathon at that point, and he had asked me.
That's when you did the 8
Yes.
hours.
No, it took me 5 hours.
it's called the
and 40
carbo
minutes.
lows, right? Because he ran the New York City
asked me-
Marathon.
He
before.
asked me like, "Hey, what did you eat before?"
Fettuccine,
I
right,
said, "You
right
had to
before the
have a
race,
carbo load." And
office
literally,
style.
Cup of noodles.
It was like the Office episode. I told him to have pasta primavera.
Yeah.
This fool goes to K Pasta and orders, shout to K Pasta in Saddlebrook, by the way. And he orders the K Pasta Baked Special, which is like the heaviest.
The heaviest.
heaviest
Michael Scott
before.
all
the
day.
day before. That was his last
Carb
meal.
load.
Yeah.
Like, just like Michael Scott.
Yo,
Yo, I could have
like-
sworn he told me to eat that.
I definitely didn't tell him that
took
you
a
have one.
picture,
I
I'm
told
like,
him to
this
have
is it.
Like, this is it. This is it.
vegetables,
This is
pasta,
what's gonna carry
garlic,
me
and
over.
oil. And so maybe that might have been the reason that
Oh,
you were
hands
struggling.
down.
at Twitter.
Hands down.
So it's Jamal's fault.
No.
Yeah, you know what? I think so.
Yeah.
Besides that, though, the going on mile 22 and seeing that, besides a marathon humbling you, it's what you see around you, right? So many people are running with you, people of all walks of life, ages. When you see that 62-year-old man
Yes.
pass you
Yes.
at mile 23, you're like, what the
And how old
Yeah.
are you, Jeff?
I'm
When this
34
happened?
now.
How old were you when you first
I was
ran that
24.
first one?
24.
10
Yeah.
years ago.
So
10
seeing
years
that
ago.
60-year-old man pass by you,
Yeah, oh yeah.
you're just like,
I have a photo
what?
of me crossing the finish line, and it's like this old Asian dude next to me.
And you're
he's
like, how
like-
did that
How
happen?
did y'all? I was
right,
like, damn,
right.
that's not.
You're like
that's not me.
crawling in there.
Trust
Oh my god, it was.
And
it was
this
brutal.
dude is like chin up, chest up,
Yeah.
He's
running
doing the
right
Dion
through.
running
running,
backwards.
legs
Yeah.
out,
Stride,
just
doing the
another
challenge.
day.
Beyond dance and like the touchdown, right?
the shuffle.
the shuffle, the unshuffle, right? Just over
man.
here, like, yo,
You're like, please let me live.
right? Let me just get through this.
Yeah.
So
man.
you're struggling through the race,
Yeah.
right? You hit mile 22. What is it?
Right.
26 miles?
It's 26.
26,
yeah.
right? So you hit 22. You got 4 miles, but now you're just like you're burnt out.
Yeah,
You don't
'cause
even know that
the
you're gonna
longest
finish.
mile I've ever ran before that marathon was only 8 miles. That's how little of training I did. You know, I was partying that couple days before, and you know, but yeah. I
And you
was-
see it now. I don't mean to cut you off, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, no.
You see it now where like kids on social media like put it on like, oh, I'm just going raw dogging it and I'm just running, no training,
Oh, I
right?
know.
And
Now-
there's bets between people.
because I've done it so long, I see it now. When they line up to the starting line, I'm like, okay,
You notice.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
beginner. You know?
Yeah.
And what was that first time?
5 hours and 31 minutes.
Wow. Which is a
Man.
big accomplishment because we were just looking this
I
up.
beat you, Radio. You're 8 hours.
Yeah,
I
no,
know.
by 8 hours. Stop saying it. It's 5 hours 41. My best time right now is 5 hours 26.
Bro,
And
I went to your
5
house.
hours 26. It says 5 hours.
The
41.
refrigerator
It says 5
magnet
hours 41.
said 8 hours.
It doesn't
and
say
some,
8 hours. It
some
doesn't
change.
First of all, they won't even.
It was like a digital clock.
because
It
the
said 8
most the
hours.
cutoff on most marathons is 6.
6 hours.
It's 6 hours, and Philadelphia gave you 7, and I know because I finished like in
7.
6 and 59 minutes, right? It's because I got hurt. But I wasn't gonna stop. But this isn't about me, anyways. This is about Jeff, and it is very hard. What I was gonna say is, only 1%. We looked it up. 1.1 million people worldwide finish a marathon.
Wow.
That's 0.1%.
I can
right?
Yeah.
surely tell you that.
You're
definitely
technically an
not
athlete at that point.
I've never run a marathon in my
So
life.
that's an incredible feat. So to go from there, you did it in 5 hours and
31 minutes.
And now what's your average time now?
now my best time was 3 hours and 22 minutes.
So you cut out 2 hours in 10 years.
2 hours and 10
Or less
years,
than
2
that,
hours
yeah.
and 10.
Yeah, but you've been running that for a while.
Yeah,
now,
a little
right?
bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This year I ended up getting a coach, just so I needed somebody to take me to the next level. But
Yeah.
I couldn't find somebody until I found this one, because like I needed somebody to be at my same mentality. You know, I'm not gonna stop. You know, you're gonna put 5 days of running. I'm gonna run the 5 days. I'm gonna give you 100%. I need you to take me seriously because I'm taking this seriously.
So wait, let me jump in there for a minute. Have you always had this drive? Like, did you grow up with that? Is it like something from your family? You get it from your parents? Like, Like, were you like that as a kid?
I was
You know,
competitive.
like,
I was very
always?
competitive.
Okay.
I was always competitive, and that even with work, I just wanted to be number one. You know, I felt like you get more money if you work harder, right? So that drive was always there.
Where do you think that comes from?
It's just probably my inner self, really.
Yeah.
Because 100% of the time, me out running, training alone, you know, kind of like, it kind of it shows me like I really don't need anyone.
Yeah.
I've been doing fine without anybody. You know?
Yeah.
And it just pushes me to continue having that.
Yeah.
Because if I rely on somebody, then I'm going to take that one accountable.
Right.
I want to hold myself accountable
Right.
at all the time.
Right. And is that like, as you're going through that run, like, so my thing with cardio is that I find it boring as hell.
It's
right?
very- yeah.
It's very boring. It's
Yeah.
tedious, right?
Right.
It's boring. It's like my mind goes a million different places. I can't run anymore, so I walk around my neighborhood. That's a whole nother story. But what mentally, like, what goes through your mind as you're doing these long-term runs? Like, are you like literally like reflecting on your entire life? Do you have like music going? Like what keeps you motivated for those 20-something miles?
I lock out, man.
Wow,
Like
really?
I literally
That's
just
crazy.
I just blank out everything and just go. My music is like everywhere. It's rock, hip hop, 80s aerobics music. Like it's just whatever craziness I happen to wake up to that morning. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Man,
Like,
now with the
I'm
summertime.
23.
Did you prepare like so? Let's stay
just
there
a
for a
show.
second on the first one, right? So this is the first time that you ran 20. That you're gonna run 26 mile,
Right.
Right. You hit mile 22. You've been doing this for a few hours now, right?
Right.
At some point, you had to have said to yourself, like, I
can't
am
do this.
Why am I doing this?
What
Right.
am I doing
Yo,
here?
this-
Yeah, like,
Yo,
right.
I started crying. I'm like,
Yeah,
yo,
wow.
this
That's-
is like,
that's what
it was
yeah.
hitting me hard, man.
Yeah.
Because it's not like I can get into a car and go,
Right.
go home. Like I have to get to the finish line. I have people waiting for me.
Yeah.
They're counting on me to finish.
lot. Yeah.
So I had to. I said, no matter what, I don't care what the time is. You know, I got to get there.
Right.
I gotta finish.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm certain that there's a lot of people that just pick up the phone and be like, yo, I'm just scooting.
Yeah, and there's a lot
right
of people
here.
and then,
And,
you know,
yo, come
they don't
pick me
finish.
up on
A
34.
big DNF, man, and that's
I did
like
not
the
make it the
biggest
Central
hits I'll
Park.
ever take.
Yeah, you heard that? The big DNF did not finish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
the
the
biggest
reason
hit
I,
you'll ever
I
feel,
kept
man.
going in Philadelphia, even
Yeah.
though it took me, and I was like the third person from the end to finish. But
Oh, you didn't?
I was
you
nervous,
had a
man.
DNFP?
no, I didn't. I finished.
Close.
That's
man.
what I'm saying.
I was
very
so
close.
nervous
Oh,
for him,
okay.
man. I was like,
Yeah.
man,
I got hurt, but hey, listen, I wasn't gonna.
And I was actually proud that he finished.
Yeah, that was a
It
tough.
doesn't have to be
yeah.
pretty, man. Just
that was
finish
when
it.
you. That was actually when you did your best finish, right? That was your 3. In Philly, was it 3 hours?
No, actually, so I was incorrect on that. The Jersey City Marathon last year was my best time. 3 hours and 22 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many miles was that?
It's all the
26,
same. It's always
26,
Also the
yeah.
same stuff?
But every marathon's different. You know, New York City's very hilly. It's one
Yeah.
of the toughest marathons
Right,
to
of
do.
course.
And then Jersey City's flat. Chicago is flat. So those are easier, you know.
Right.
Right.
So
To finish up with.
So then you
To
finished
improve your
that
time.
first one, right?
Yeah.
You finished that first one.
Yeah.
You crossed the finish line. You're extremely emotional about what you've just accomplished.
yeah.
What happens at that point? Because you're right, based on what you were telling us before, it was in that 22 to 26 when Jefe was
Right.
born. Your that inner demon.
Yeah.
Right? Like what David Goggins calls Goggins.
Who's Hefe?
We're about to get into that.
I don't know. Some guy
So-
running.
Some guy in the room.
He's
that's
on
like,
the way.
who-
So Kobe has Black Mamba.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
David Goggins has Goggins,
Goggins.
this
Yeah.
inner demon that
Jeff.
that you tap into.
Correct,
Right?
yeah.
And during that 4 mile stretch where he's extremely emotional,
Yeah.
Jefe is
Right.
born.
Right.
Right.
It's
And this
your-
is the guy that runs now.
Yeah.
This is that
This is
dude.
my inner guy. Because
I
everybody.
need to, wait. I need to get into that. I need to hear more about
right.
that.
Yeah, word.
Let's
About
talk
the whole
about
Hefe.
Switch on?
The switch, the how to like how because you know sometimes how can I put it like in sports like with baseball. I've been a college athlete, yes, a very very minimal level, right?
Right.
Been playing softball now, like you know what I'm saying. But at the same time, when I'm hitting, when I'm doing well, everything else slows down.
Right.
I don't see shit. All I see is the baseball. The baseball looks like a beach ball. I can almost point to where I want to hit it. It's slow. It's you get into this like zone, right? That I have hit a few times in my life on
Yeah.
some amateur shit.
Right.
But I wonder like, is that what you're talking about with running?
Exactly
It's the
that
same
point.
kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
everything else just kind of dissipates away. Yeah.
Everybody has that, I think.
Yeah.
Everybody, it comes out in your flight or fight. Flight or
Fight or
fight, I'm
flight.
sorry.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it comes out at that moment. You know, you can flip a car all of a sudden, right? Like you get this whole inner drive.
Adrenaline.
Right.
Yeah.
So everybody has into it,
Yeah.
has that drive in them. They're focused on something, and sometimes they don't even remember doing it. Like they're like, when I go on these long runs, like I'm zoned out, like I said, because it's him running, like kind of like that helps me kind of just blanks out. Like, all right, you take control.
And just now you're just letting it go.
Right. Well, yeah, so it's like it was a battle because it was, my times every time running these marathons. It was just like an inner battle with myself. It's like, but I did this. Like, why wasn't this working? How come you didn't perform well? Like, oh, well, you didn't do this, So it was kind of like back and forth with that kind of situation. And you just have to cope with that, your inner demon.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. Because when you're so focused on something, like, you just, like you said, everything just blanks out. And if you do that all the time, you go into a very dark place.
Yeah.
So.
I can relate to that because I'm a retired cop, right? And there's these moments of just pure adrenaline where you're going through, you're going way faster than you should have on a sidewalk, flying backwards sometimes to get to a spot. Yeah. Or even if you're just in the middle of trying to take somebody down, it's pure adrenaline. And I know exactly what you mean because where you get to it, the minute almost like you extend your hands, then it's over and you wake up and you're someplace else, right? And that whole like adrenaline moment in there, for me, it was always like short bursts. It was just quick, 10 seconds, 15 seconds, and I'm done with it. How the hell do you deal with
Sustain that for 3 hours,
for hours. I have no idea how you do that, bro. Like, is that like Jefe? Is that like he's doing it? Like I'm just letting him rock.
Yeah, I'm trusting him like he's trusting me, So,
wow.
And that's what carried me over, when I did the last 4 miles, that inner beast was just like, all right, I'll do it. I'll get us there.
Wow. Do you feel the difference? Like, do you notice it? Is it like can you pinpoint like when you hit that zone or like
man, and it switches like, so I'm gonna say it's kind of disgusting, but before every race, I go into the porta potty, right, to use it. Marathon, Spartan race. There's a little mirror right there. I look in the mirror before I walk out. I just check myself and I say, all right, let's go. Let's get it done. Yeah. And then boom, it just hits. It's like the collar is off, right? And then it's just like I'm going. Yeah. So I'm always giving 100%.
You're like turning psychotic in that mirror.
Yeah, man. Like it's just like that drive, that hunt. Like I'm just, all right, you're there because you think you're better than me. So I'm gonna let's see.
Yeah. That's a different.
Are you like that
mentality, man?
With other parts of your life too? Was
absolutely with work. With work. Any. I was working with Canada Dry for 12 years, but it wasn't more until now, after I lost my job, when I started noticing that we can benefit a lot more because now. I don't have work. Now we're out. Now we got to go back into the real world again. Right. And, I worked for Red Bull and I'm with this company, but every job that I was at, I made sure that I was number one. I had to give it. I applied that. I was like, well, we can do this, running. We can do this in the real world too. So.
Same goals, same standards, same to get to the top. When you're tired, when you're feeling like, I don't want to wake up to go to work, when I don't want to do this, it's the same mentality when you don't want to train, but you're like, I got to do it.
But I got to make sure that, but whatever we're doing doesn't interfere with what we're doing right now, which is running. Yeah. That's my main goal. When people ask me, what are you doing for a living? I say I'm a marathon runner. I work for this job and it helps me, pay for the things that I like, the shoes and, clothes. Right. I kind of use that.
So tell the people, what's the goal? What's the goal? Right now, I mean, you're running 15 marathons. You've done all that, but
the goal is to run the Boston Marathon.
Boston Marathon.
Yeah, and I got to finish that in 3 hours or less.
3 hours or less. And I think that, like when we spoke last time, this is the pinnacle for marathon runners, right? Yeah. To run the Boston City Marathon.
Yeah, it's the holy grail. It's like the holy land for everyone. People want to do it. Yeah, it's the first marathon ever made. Right.
Boston. Okay.
Yeah. So when you see people at the marathons, they always asking you like, "Oh, so have you ever run Boston? You ever run Boston?" They don't care about like Chicago.
Yeah, they don't care about
New York's up there.
New York's New York's but Boston, everybody wants to go to Boston.
And what's that qualification like for Boston?
So from 18 to 34, you're gonna finish at 3 hours or less, and then it adds 5 minutes every 8 years, I think. After that, so I'm right at the end. So, yeah, I mean, I can wait next year to qualify. I will have a 5 minute buffer, but I still want to do less than 3 hours because I know I can do it.
Yeah.
But right now, I need 2 hours and 55 minutes in order to kind of get a guarantee because so many people run it. and so many people qualify, so they only let certain amount of people in. So they only take in the fastest,
Right.
and then after the
The
2
elite.
hours, even though you run
elite of
3
the elite.
hours, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's
And
real
how long have
competitive
you had
kick
that goal? How long have you wanted to? When
Since
did you know?
the first marathon?
Since you ran New York, you've been saying, I want to qualify for Boston.
At first I thought I was gonna qualify. That's how cocky I thought I was.
Yeah, yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah,
You're like,
I
I
said
got
it,
this.
right? I was like, I know I can
Like,
do
it's
it.
easy.
Yeah, 3
Yeah.
hours, that's it.
Just gotta focus.
Okay,
Me 3 hours to move in my legs.
just
whatever.
exactly. Don't
All right.
stop. How hard can it
Don't
be?
stop moving
Yeah.
my legs.
Yeah.
How hard can it be 10 years later?
10
You're
years
like,
later,
later,
still doing
15
it.
you're like
marathons left.
running right there in the 11th hour.
Feeling every year, man.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
yeah.
ain't easy.
And people coming up to you probably like, I know. I mean, listen, I've done you clowning me now, and I get it, and I would too. With the time that I ran in, but most people when they hear, oh, Jamal, you did a marathon, oh, you did 2, wow, that's amazing, like, wow, that's great.
Just doing one is a huge accomplishment.
And in my head, I'm like, because I'm disappointed in that time. Like, I still wanted to do better, so I could only imagine you, right, thinking I wanted to qualify for Boston, and everyone telling you how great you're doing, but then in your mind, you're like, I didn't do anything.
Well,
Right.
Like, have you set have you set the number and hit the number consistently? If you're like, okay, I'm gonna run this in 3 hours, under 3 hours, every year you hit it, every year you do it, or like, is it like I'm gonna run in 3 hours and it's like, nah, I ran in 3 hours and 10 minutes, or whatever? Like how does that work? Like, are you hitting your goals, or is it just that?
Just like I said, I haven't hit it yet. Like it bounces around. Sometimes I think I'm gonna have a good day. Like I ran Chicago right back in 2021. That was a flat race. I was training aggressively, and it was a super flat course. I was like, all right, I got this, right? 3 hours and 5 minutes. I think I'm gonna cross it. And the weather just happened to be so hot that I finished in 3 hours and 45 minutes. Oh, wow. So it's like, damn, I trained all this year again, and it's like it was supposed to be a perfect day, and it doesn't sometimes. So it varies every marathon.
Yeah.
But last year, I said I'm gonna run the marathon. The Jersey City Marathon was the first marathon in Jersey up here, and
Jersey City,
yeah,
Jersey City,
and
the first time they had it. Yep.
So, but I barely trained for it, right?
Yeah.
I barely trained for it, and then I got my best time. So then I said, okay. So I ran it this year, the beginning of this year. I signed up again, and I said, I'm going to train harder. I'm going to train for it now. I'm going to get a coach and all this stuff. So I'm going to really train for it. And I did worse. I did 2 hours and 3 hours and 29 minutes. Wow. I sustained a knee injury, so that kind of took effect, 7 weeks before it.
Yeah.
But, that sucked, and that leads to like, how do I define pain,
Right.
Pain's an old friend, right?
Yeah.
So like at that moment, I'm like, well, we're training, we got to train, we got to continue, we can't stop, we got to keep going. So what? I'm hurt all the time, I'm sore all the time. Doesn't matter, we got to keep going.
Yeah.
And then I cross it, and it's like 3:29. It's like, damn, man, like when am I gonna catch?
So what keeps you to keep going? So like, exactly, holding that thought there. So you did your best time, you hardly trained, you did your best time ever. You trained, you get a coach, you take it one step further, you do worse. Take us through that. Did you sign up for the next one? Like you said, you're running New York in November.
Right, yeah.
So what makes you want to
Get up and do it
again? Well, I want to run New York City every year, right?
Yeah.
Until like I'm 82 years old.
Yeah. Wait, yeah, because you said, can you just mention that really quick? Because you said something before you wanted to run like one anniversary.
Yeah, I did the 50th marathon, 50th anniversary for New York City. So I said, well, in another 50 years I'll be 82, but at least I'll get the 100. I'm hoping to live until that time.
run the 50th.
So I want to run it every year, so I can show all 50 years.
50th
That's quite the accomplishment.
Straight through though.
Yeah.
Oh, it's not like I'm gonna run the 50th and then the 100th.
No,
it's like
I'm
running every year.
From the 50th to the 100th. That's amazing. 50 years.
That
So-
changes perspective on the goal, right?
Wow.
That's like a life goal.
That's a separate goal from the Boston.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
that's just a lifetime.
Okay.
I think people should have different goals for
Yeah,
things
absolutely.
here,
I don't
right?
think that's a bad idea.
So why not? I'll hang it up.
Jamal got the
Yeah,
8-minute goals.
Yeah.
The 8 mile. What is it?
I mean,
the
you
8
got
hour
the 8 hour
goal.
one. You got the 8 hour one.
Try running
You knocked
backwards
that one
this
out.
time. Let's see
You
how.
knocked that one. You did that one. 8 hour goal was good.
How much? What was your time?
My time. My time is. I'm still training. Technically, the way my body works, I'm training for it.
It's kind of
Shots
crazy though
fired. You
because like
happy,
we
bro.
talk
I got
about
these
sometimes
guns ready.
how like with failure it's sports, right? Like baseball, for example, it's like a game of failure. Like you just got to get comfortable with failing, right? Because like in sports, if you hit what is it, 3 out of 10 pitches for the rest of your career, you're literally one of the best players ever.
Right.
on
Derek
the diamond.
Jeter,
Ever.
Jeez.
Right. I don't know about Derek Jeter anyway,
Here we
but
go.
let's talk about somebody else about that. And it's like, right, so like, but that means 70% of the time you're striking out, you're popping up, you're hitting to some double plays, right?
Yeah.
So it's like with running, it sounds like you're almost like in that similar sphere where it's like, I'm setting this goal, I'm not hitting it, but like I have to be almost comfortable with not hitting it and continuously trying to reach that goal. Like it's like you're in that space of what happens when you hit the goal. Do you
Right.
just set up another goal? Like, because you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
'Cause it's
get
like
you
that
what you mean, yeah.
uncomfortable position, like being
Right.
comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Correct. Yeah, and I don't want to be that way. Yeah, I definitely
Yeah.
have plans
Yeah.
to do something other than running. Well, it's gonna still revolve running. Like I want to do the Ironman.
Yeah.
I want to do a 100-mile race. you
Yeah, I was
know,
gonna
but
say like
I don't-
Moab, right? Moab.
Yeah, that or I want to do rock climbing. Maybe bicycling and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But yeah, but I can't move on until I finish this one. So I'm kind of like I'm locked in.
Gotcha.
That it's.
So these are outside.
These are just
These are
these are
the
late.
one.
But this is this is the one right
Because
here.
I want to know I can run a marathon. I know I can run it.
Right.
Yeah.
I just want to know what else I can do.
Damn.
I haven't found my
Wow.
threshold yet.
And you know what the crazy part to take that a step further, right? Because when you baseball analogy, right? You're
Yeah.
going against another team, another pitcher. He's
Right.
going against himself.
Self.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just like every single time that you don't hit the goal, don't hit the mark,
Yeah.
it's like another time that
Another
now
setback.
you're just another season, you're going into it and you're
Yeah.
just like, I mean, it must be difficult. Like, how do you
is.
get past
It's
that?
a lot
mentally?
of it's a lot of time. It's a lot. I run 5 times a week. On a Saturday, I get up in the morning early, so I don't go out on Friday nights. So when people ask me to hang out, like I can't because I got to run early in the morning.
Focus.
So
Locked
yeah, I'm so locked in. And then so when I cross this marathon, I'm like, man, I did everything. What else can I do? And then again, it's battling, Heffen. It's like,
Yeah.
I took care of you. You didn't take care of me. Why couldn't you do it? And it's
Right.
just kind of like, now I'm left alone again to go back to the drawing board again.
Yeah.
And
figure out.
So it
What is
takes
that?
a lot.
What does Heffet tell you in that moment when you failed?
Nah,
Or what do you tell Heffet when Heffet
yeah,
fails?
yeah. It's like, like what else? What were you supposed to do? Like, I don't,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a battle inside.
Like, what else
And-
can I put into this?
Yeah, and then you get all emotional and stuff, and it's tiring. I'm running fast all the time. I'm running all the time, early in the morning, late at night. Like I'm running, going to work for 8 hours, coming back to cross train. I'm home for like 1.5 hours with my wife and the dog, and then going back to sleep and doing that every single day for
Yeah.
months. And then it's like it's brutal, you
Yeah.
know. So
Physically, and mentally.
yeah, and then I kind of like wasn't like loving running anymore. It was something like I was just like I'm just doing it to do it now. I don't like the sport anymore. So
Yeah.
I took a day to kind of think about it. Like, all right, if we stop, we're gonna go back to the bottom. If we can continue, maybe do it a different way where we can be together. And you have your fun, I'm have my fun, but let's have fun with it too.
Yeah.
And I had many races after that week. I had 2 Spartan races after that. I had like a small race after that, and these were like big races. I had to do the sprint, super, and the beast, and right after the marathon. So it's tiring, right? But then I said, you know what? I'm just gonna, instead of competing, I'm gonna have fun. And that, like after that moment, I'm like, all right, we can do this. Let's have fun and let's do it again.
How soon after the marathon was that? A week?
It was like, a week after. And I gave him a call because we spoke about it. And I said, man, I don't know if I can continue doing this. I want to take maybe a year off and then maybe go back into it.
Yeah.
But again, it's like, I don't want that what if moment to come
Yeah,
back
yeah,
and say,
yeah.
but what if we didn't stop?
Right.
What if we would have kept going?
Yeah.
Right.
So I say, all right, let's just keep going. We'll take care. My knee was hurting. So I knew how to get back into it, how to recover it. Because I did some studying on how to recover knees, and I'm glad that kind of happened to me, because now I know when someone else goes through that I can take care of them too. Like, hey, why don't you try this and that? Or if it happens again, I know what to do.
Right.
So
What do you consider to you? What is failure? What is the definition of it?
not being able to. I have it on my notes. this might be,
Fail right there.
I know, and this might be cut.
No.
I mean, if you want to pick it up and read it, man, I mean, that's up to you.
No,
man.
pick it up. Yeah,
Like,
of course. Bring it
yeah,
out.
man.
We want to hear it. We want to hear
know
it.
it, yeah.
Because like for
Because
me,
these are your own mental notes.
these are your yeah.
I just wrote this down.
Wait,
right?
Mike.
No,
Mike.
but yeah.
These are your own mental notes, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily in preparation for today's episode, but just you talking to yourself.
Right.
Kind of like your
after
journal.
every like long run, I would,
Right.
Pick
So-
up the phone sometimes and write down.
So you would do
My
a
thoughts.
run, and then when you're done, you're sitting down, your body's in a relaxed state. Then mentally, you just kind of drop everything on the page.
Yeah.
So you should eventually turn that into a book, my friend.
Yeah, seriously.
I know. I've been told.
Obviously,
Yeah.
That'd be
Okay,
great.
so
That
my
would be
bad.
great.
So what is your
Runners thoughts
what
or
is your
something, yeah.
definition of failure?
Knowing I gave everything I could to prove to myself that I was right.
Knowing you gave everything with
Oh no, failure.
failure.
I'm
not
sorry.
success, yeah.
Was that
Not
success?
Was that
That was success.
Wait, say that again.
Yeah,
What is
that's-
your definition of success?
Knowing I gave everything I could to prove myself that I was right.
To prove yourself that was right. Damn, that's a good one.
Knowing that I gave everything of myself
Everything
to
I
that prove
yeah.
myself that I was right.
Right into the mic, right into the camera for the people.
Say it again.
Say it again. But it's-
Knowing I gave everything I could to prove to myself that I was right.
Nice.
I love that. I
love
love
that.
that.
Yeah.
All right, now on the
And then
flip
the
side,
failure.
Flip that.
What's
not-
your definition of failure?
Not believing in myself, not putting myself first.
Yeah.
I think that's a big failure. I think everyone should put themselves first.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all the time.
Not
Yeah.
believing in yourself, not putting yourself
First, right?
Yeah.
Failure. Okay.
You got to put yourself first, man.
Jamal looks like
That's the first time we've
Jamal looks
actually
like
heard
he's dealing
that,
with
right?
that.
Because
Jamal looks like he's kind of like figuring out like
because usually you hear failure, right? You hear, "Oh, I didn't achieve a goal,
I
or I gave
quit.
up on a
I gave up
dream,
on something.
Right, I gave up.
quit."
I didn't
Yeah.
try.
But not putting yourself first,
Yeah.
that is
Yeah,
deep.
you gotta
That
have
is
pride. in
that is your
yourself, man.
ultimate
You gotta be.
failure.
I am hard on myself,
Right.
But
Right.
I know where I came from, how
Yeah.
long the journey was. So I'm proud of myself that
Right.
I'm not gonna quit. So
Well, what was it? You mentioned that it was the. Did you have like a health scare at all too, or was it just that you're just like, you know what, we got to change our lives and get our shit together, or did you have like an issue? Or
no, not at all. I switched I'm plant based now for 4 years now, but
Yeah.
I'm always constantly reading up on what can I do to improve my running. You know,
Yeah.
so I read books on running, and then it's all right. But health is a big thing too. It's 70% of everything.
Right.
So I'm like, okay, what can give me the quickest recovery? How can I feel good? You know, so I completely changed my diet because of it, and it's been working. I feel great all the
Right.
time. You know,
there's a documentary on Netflix called Game Changers. right?
Game Changer,
Yeah,
yeah,
Game
that's
Changers
a
was
good
dope.
one.
Game Changers basically like it showed that the strongest man in the world, literally the strongest man in the world, is vegan.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Kyrie Irving, vegan, started Impossible Burgers and all that, right? So it's like you think about it and you're like, wait, but we're taught our entire lives you need
protein,
protein,
eat this way,
you need
protein,
chicken,
low
you need
carbs.
grilled chicken, low
Correct.
carbs, and then you
Yeah.
got these athletes that are like, nah, I don't need none of that shit.
Yeah.
Right.
You got Hefe who does
You got
that.
Hefe that ran and can outrun all of us, especially them all. You
Like
know what
right
I'm saying?
now.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And when people ask me, like, oh, you're slim because you run a lot. And I was like, yeah, okay, man. You know, I got to fuel myself when I'm running
Yeah, of
16, 18,
course.
20 miles, right?
Of course.
Like,
Of course.
I have
you
to.
probably eat more than us, actually, going out there, right?
Yeah, I know, now I know how to eat perfect, you know.
And I know that
perfect
can't be
way.
easy. I mean, I know I see it firsthand at family events and things like that,
Yeah.
right? Because we're Spanish, right? We
Yeah, that
love
was tough.
food
Yeah.
and we, you know,
Yeah.
Thanksgivings and all the get-togethers. You
Ah,
got,
no con habichuela
you got
patata,
the
yeah.
pernil,
Right.
you got everything, you know.
Uh-huh.
from-
And he's there like, nah.
He's like, nah, I'm
jogging in
good.
place.
Like,
jogging in place. Like, I'm
I'll
good.
take the
I'm
eggplant.
focused. I'm good. I'm
Give
good.
me a
People are like,
banana.
what the hell's eggplant? We
Yeah.
don't
You
have-
know,
I'm gonna bring my own salad. I'm good. I'm
Make
good.
sure you clean the grill.
Yeah.
I want
Give
that
me a
cross
job.
contamination.
Yeah, that's a little.
Wait, but for real, hold up. That's a good question.
Yeah.
Right. Now you're talking about temptation.
Correct.
Yeah, yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because as
It was
you know, it right because
At
like
least
you're
for the last
focused
10
on the
years.
goal.
At
At
least
least
for the
10
last-
years. How you been dealing with
what-
that?
how long you been vegan?
Well, I was vegan for 4 years, but I was
4 years, okay.
pescatarian for 3 years prior to that. I gave up
7
meat
years,
already.
okay.
I did it more for cruelty, and then just really didn't eat it after that.
Yeah.
Stopped.
Just done with it.
And but fish, I still ate fish and cheese. And then it wasn't until February 17 of 2020, on St. Patty's Day, I don't know, just picked up a Guinness and I said, and at that time Guinness wasn't vegan. I didn't know that.
Right.
And I said, I think I'm gonna go vegan.
Right. I'm done with
And
it.
then
Just randomly.
Yeah, just randomly,
Just
right?
randomly.
Because I was like, you know, I just want to see how I feel, right? Hear good things about it, you know,
Yeah.
like it's, you know,
How
see
have,
how
you,
it,
how have you felt? Have you noticed the difference?
big change,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So it definitely sounds like you've been at war against yourself in you know, hypothetically, not hypothetically speaking, but more or less.
What is it? Hyphenated?
In the sense that
Metaphor?
you've challenged yourself time after time to see
Constantly.
whether
It didn't
you
even have to
can
be about running, right?
Right. 'Cause
Yeah.
whether you can see you could do it or not,
Yeah.
whether it's at work, whether it's, running, right?
Yeah.
Anything else.
Constantly
Food,
changing.
diet,
Right.
Right. Yeah. It's
So
good.
you've just
constantly
constant
changing
war against
challenge
yourself, right?
Challenging
Yeah, you
yourself.
always
Yeah,
want to
that's-
challenge yourself. Yeah,
Right.
it helps. Coping with failure.
Right.
So-
What have you learned? Two questions. What have you learned? It's a two-part question. What have you learned about yourself, right? When it comes to those challenges, dealing with those challenges, and what have you learned about like your wife, like your support system? Not just has to be your wife, but like your support system around you.
Start with your wife, but family.
Yeah,
friends,
because
everybody.
like in all the challenges I've had, I've learned a lot about me and how I can deal with them, and I know that I can.
Right.
But the people around me that I thought were like there for me,
Aren't there for you.
sometimes they're not. Sometimes they are. The people that I didn't think were there for me, all of a sudden pop up and like, what the hell? Yeah, we're here for it. So,
Yeah.
like, how have you been able to deal with those, like yourself and then those around you?
Right. As far as people just like
Like,
saying they're coming.
as far as like supporting you, just support
in
like,
your
support
in your
system.
journey,
in
just
your journey
diet,
there,
running,
diet, because there's a lot of changes.
not being
that
to
you
go out.
through,
Yeah,
right?
like,
right.
No, it's been great. When I go to family events now, they support that, right? Being
great.
vegan.
Yeah.
My wife is just a huge, big part of supporting me. I give big thanks to her because the time again running away and traveling now for work, it's been a lot. Constantly not being home. Even though when I'm home. But still not bringing in meat sometimes, so she supports on that.
Yeah.
And it's been well. from there.
Did you surprise yourself thinking that? Well, going along those failures, right? Like, did anything surprise you as to how resilient you are? Did anything surprise you as to
No.
like?
I'm up for any challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's
That's what I'm
because
trying
I'm
to get
constantly
at.
challenging
Yeah.
myself. So if there's something that comes up, I'm ready already.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Mentally.
I'm at 100 all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, if I did it and I failed, okay, I can
Doesn't
do it
affect
again.
you mentally how it would
that's
somebody else.
Yeah, that's a good
Right.
part of it. So it's like you hit the failure, and it's like, well, whatever, fuck it. Like when we keep moving on.
Yeah.
You don't
Yeah.
sit there and
What
dwell
can
on
I
it.
do to not do that again? Let me
Yeah.
not repeat that.
Right.
But
I'm not gonna
boom.
take it to heart. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I can
that's-
do
so
it
it's
again.
Kind of like
I know
you
I
do
can
it, and then you see it for what it is, and you move past it. You don't let it stop.
that's a
you
lot
at
of
any point.
the reason of the podcast is that.
Yeah.
We're trying to get people to the point of like, yes, I hit this barrier, I did this failure, I didn't hit my 8-hour run, my 5-hour run, my 3-hour run.
Yeah.
But there's some people that are stuck in it and they can't get past it,
Or won't
they
even-
just stop,
won't
and they
even
don't go
try.
back.
Yeah.
And here you are, you're like, nah, I haven't reached my goal. I've been ready for 10 years. I haven't reached it yet, and you ready to go? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You're still ready to rock.
It's,
Yeah.
I think it's because they're scared. They're
Yeah.
scared to
Yeah.
kind of take that failure again. That moment, it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
And then even sucks even more when you go into the dark place again. Like it sucks to be in there again. Because what you got to do to if you're going to do it again to succeed it.
Yeah.
You don't want to go back there again. And I think people back off on it. Then they commit spiritual suicide. I say it. Like why not? Because you don't want later on in life saying like, well, that what if moment.
Yeah.
What if I didn't? I could have done that.
People feel comfortable being not complacent. That complacency, I think, is that part where they're like right before the dark place that you're
Right.
as you're calling it. They're like, you know what? I'm good here. Right? I don't
You're
want to go
satisfied.
into there.
Right.
Because if I got to dig deep, in order to get to this side, in order to get to whatever that goal is, whatever I wanted to do,
Yeah.
that means I got to go through this.
Right.
Yeah.
And I got to put myself.
You know
through
what
this,
you've been through.
This
Yeah.
discipline. This I can't do this mistake again. I got to get to this point again. And even then, that's not guaranteed, right?
Right.
You could do all of it right,
And you can fail again.
and you can
Right.
fail again. So
Right.
I think people just before they get into that, at least in my experience, I've seen they're like, "Nah, I'm not. I'm good here because I know where this is.
Right. I'll think
know
about it later
What I'm
and
doing
try again.
to get here. I've been doing it without even thinking about it, so I'm good here.
Yeah.
To do what now to get to that next level, to get to
Right.
that whatever that goal is, and I'm not going in there.
Yeah.
Well, that's my definition of failure right there. It's complacency. It's just because you're in a spot where you're not willing to get better. You're not willing to get worse. Like you're just
Yeah.
kind of on cruise control. Right.
Exactly.
I don't want to
Yeah.
live my life like that. I want to challenge, but same thing as you're saying. Every year I want to do something different. Like
Right.
I want to challenge myself. Whatever that looks like, it doesn't have to be a marathon, but some sort of challenge. Like this podcast was a challenge for all of us.
Yeah.
Like we didn't
Right.
last year. We
absolutely.
didn't. We were talking about it, but now we're just like, no, fuck it, we're doing it. You
Yeah.
know.
And now it's in.
And now it's we're in
When you succeed, I
episode
think-
38, whatever the hell it is.
When you
we're at.
succeed, I think that's when it changes a little bit. Like, okay,
When you
well, I got
succeed.
it. Yeah, when you succeed, it's
And then how do you turn that now, that dark place into, because you said fun, right? Now I'm back in it because I have to find the fun in it, right? Because
Yeah.
for a long time
Right.
it wasn't,
Right.
right? And then now, how do you mesh these two things together?
Yeah, it was being that I was young, you can see how hungry I was, and it was fun hungry. I wanted that again. So I would look at photos and see, it's like, yo, like that dude was different, I know he's still inside me. Let's do it. We can have that kind of fun.
Yeah.
So as I'm training, as I'm doing these speed runs, it's like releasing the dog off the leash. All right, go ahead and come back.
Zoomies.
And saying like, all right, we're gonna have fun. We're gonna go fast. We're gonna run
Right.
fast, and it's gonna be great. We're gonna hit this time. We're gonna feel great after.
Right.
And it's been wonderful, man.
Right.
It's been like I'm
And that's
just
great,
getting
man.
into the big.
That's a different.
And that's my
mentality.
definition of failure, right?
Yeah.
Because you're not starting from scratch. You're starting from experience, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, even though you failed so many times,
Right.
it's not, you start all over again from the beginning, but you've grown from 10 years ago to the person that you are today.
Yeah.
That starting all over again today is way different than
100%.
starting 10 years
But
ago.
still, 15 marathons, I failed.
Right.
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 It's like, okay, maybe it's
15 marathons you failed,
Maybe
but
16.
I ain't run 15 marathons.
Right.
Honestly,
For perspective.
I don't know.
Jamal,
I know.
I'm on 7.
Seriously.
So on 7, right?
Radio
It doesn't
have it
happen.
over
So,
one.
so that's another thing we talk about too, where it's like subjective.
Yeah.
Like, that's what we ask those questions, because failure is very subjective. It could be,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like it could be that like you're over here talking about, I failed all these marathons, but like,
Yeah.
I know for a fact I
My
wouldn't make it to
time
that.
collectively equals his 15.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, I guess.
Equals the 15. Right? So, but
Yeah,
Nah,
no,
yeah,
it
it's a
doesn't
different-
matter.
it's a different look, yeah.
Even
But it sounds like
winning,
you're gentle with yourself while also being a hard on yourself.
hard on myself.
It's
Yeah,
like a gentle,
there's a
tough
saying.
love.
Yeah, be as easy as yourself as you are hard on yourself. So
It's gotta be a
So what does
balance.
recovery look like for you?
I'm good.
Like, no, I'm saying like you run, you do these runs, you do all that. Like, how do you not de-stress, but how do you recover the body, like the muscles? Like what? Like, I'm assuming you need 9 hours of sleep, or you're just like, nah, man, I'm
Ice
back
bath.
up at it again.
Yeah,
With that-
Ice bath,
Nah,
ice
no,
bath,
I-
and,
man, the
and the next
compression-
day.
Yeah, the compression. Yeah, no, recovery is big, and that like I said, diet's big plays a big part of
That's a
it.
big part of it.
So I do that, and but it usually takes me about a day. Yeah,
she has the
Wow.
but you have but he has tools around, right? The compression.
Sometimes I haven't been using that lately.
But those are
Yeah.
good.
Oh, you didn't have to, or not because
I would think what I have right now, it's working.
Right.
My the training plan I have is like, okay, I ran 16 miles on a Saturday, but I can run 3 miles the next day.
Okay,
Like I'm
gotcha.
fine. I can keep the muscle moving, and that's big on recovery too. You
Right.
want to keep moving.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that through when I try to train and follow the training. They'll be like, "Oh, this 3 mile run, this 6 mile run,
Yeah,
this
for
is
the
going to be your
recovery
recovery run."
Right.
And in my head, I'm like, "Dude, are you kidding
How
me
is-
right
right,
now?
what
I'm
the hell?
struggling.
Right,
I
yeah.
gotta
Get out of
get to
bed.
the 6 miles
Yeah,
right
right,
now.
yeah,
I'm mad at that. You telling me I'm supposed to be recovering right now?
recovery run?
And and then you could put it on guided, and at least the program that I use, and then the coach will be in your ear and he'll be like, this is your mind is supposed to tell you that this is good, and you're supposed to be running and heal. Like it's almost like you're healing yourself. And in my head, I'm like, dude, I'm damaging. Like I'm running right now.
it's
I'm
tough.
gonna be way worse after this than I was before I
No,
started.
but don't get me wrong. Like I'm
it's a
tired in the
different
morning.
mentality,
Like
yeah.
I'm tired like everybody else.
Yeah,
I'm
of
like
course.
extremely tired.
course,
But I gotta get up. I gotta do it. I'm sore.
Yeah.
Okay. So what? Keep
Yeah.
going. And just
and
keep
it's not
having
having
moving
that's driving.
So
Yeah,
what
it's
makes,
Jeff.
what
Like,
makes happen? What makes that happen? What makes
you get
Because-
up?
Yeah, what makes you get up?
I know once I'm out there doing it that okay, I'm glad I'm glad I went out on this run. Like this morning, 4:00 in the morning, I did not want to wake up. I'm tired, but I got to run at 5. Then I got to work out right after. And there's so many things happening right now, but I'm just extremely tired. I don't want to do this. I'm tired. I'm sore.
Yeah, of course.
But on the
Like
so what?
everybody
but
else.
on the flip
So what?
side, so you said, oh, it's good because I know that I'm gonna feel good afterwards. 'Cause
So
the flip
once
side
I'm
is,
starting running,
so if you don't do it, you'll feel
I
bad.
feel horrible. When I started this coaching plan since the second week of January, I've only missed 1 day of running. 99%, I'm still complete, and that pisses me off.
Wow.
Because I missed.
Wait,
Because
You want to start all over again.
Gets you tight.
You want to start all over again.
The 1%.
Yeah, because it's like I missed it. She added a run, a 3-mile run on a Sunday, and I normally wasn't running Sunday until I saw on Monday, and I was like, nah, we're not doing that.
And then what happens at that moment?
That's
How do you deal with that?
100%.
That's
How do you deal with that
That's
moment? At that
Mamba
moment,
mentality.
do you feel? How do you mentally?
No, I feel good, man. I feel like like
you don't
I'm
beat
strong.
yourself up. You don't.
No, I just have to let it go, man.
Yeah.
Just keep going. Don't
cannot-
stop
you can't-
again. Don't be
Right.
98.
Right.
Doing 98%.
Yeah, because they could get worse.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a slippery slope.
You could go from
right? It's a
99
slippery
to
slope.
98 real
that's
quick.
a different way to look
Yeah.
at it. So
Yeah,
every
that's
rate
crazy.
you start
That's
the
crazy.
program,
So true.
you start day one, you're already at 100.
Yeah.
You could only get worse.
You could only
if
get
miss
worse.
one.
You could only get
You're
worse.
going-
Yeah.
Yo, wow.
That's a good way to
Yeah,
look at
That's
that.
a good way to look at it. You start at 100, it could only get worse. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's not like you're working your way up. It's
Nah,
like
you already
off on
started
right
at the
foot.
yeah.
Right.
But now
You
you
start
gotta
the program
stay
today,
with
you're
that.
good. Now you got to
gotta
stay
with it.
good.
Consistency is
Consistency is key, man.
it's a
tiring,
bitch,
bro.
God,
Consistency is
Consistency
key.
is tough. That's what is it like Mike Tyson says, what is discipline? Like discipline is getting up and doing the shit that you hate like every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Like just getting up and going. Not even think like you said, not even thinking about it. Just I don't think twice about it. Just get up and I move. Keep
Yeah.
it moving.
The
Yeah.
longer you think, man, the longer you're going to stay on that bed.
Yeah, yeah.
And it gives an advantage on the next person, too.
Yeah.
You know, trying to chase your goal.
The other person that's getting up.
Everybody else is
'Cause
chasing.
everybody-
coming
The
after
other
your
Hefe.
ass.
There's
The
another
other
Hefe somewhere getting
Everybody
up.
got one.
Don't give them the advantage.
He probably listening to this right now and saying,
Probably.
she or he's listening to this is going to say, hey,
Right.
you know what?
Right.
I got to get up at 3:30.
Now I
You're not
know
gonna
what Jeff's
get me,
doing.
Jeff.
Right.
You're not gonna get my marathon.
Now I know what
spot,
Jamal's
my
doing.
Boston spot.
Right.
I want
got
my
it.
spot in Boston.
Yeah,
There
word.
you go.
It's good, man. I got an uncle he's in his he's hitting like 90s now, right? And I was just at a wedding this
God bless
weekend.
him.
My man was up
real.
dancing around, going crazy. He's
90.
looks in
Love his
great
life.
shape. He's about to hit 90, dancing, right?
Nice.
Reggaeton,
Oh, nice,
dancing.
man.
Reggaeton. Okay.
So I ask him all the time. I'm like, what's the
secret.
Like, what's the secret, bro? Like, what is it? And it's something very similar
Sofrito.
to what you said. Medalla, no. It's the same thing what you said. He's just like, I just keep moving.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's really it. He was
Yeah.
just like, I get up, I work out 3 days a week, right? Of course, he don't live heavy, but he works out
Yeah,
3 days a
correct.
week.
Yeah.
He's in his garden. Was walking his dog at the time. He goes for like a mile walk with his dog, and he's just like, every day I get up and I do something.
Yeah.
And now at this age, obviously I need to recover and relax and rest. I take
Yeah.
a nap and all this type of stuff. But every day I
still
just
moving.
keep
Movement
moving.
is medicine,
Don't think
man.
about it.
Yeah.
Just keep moving. And I noticed that too with like older family members. If you think about it, the ones that are not in that best shape when they hit their 70s and 80s because of that, they in bed all day just
Yeah.
watching
that's it.
TV.
It starts
Yeah.
early. It starts even before 70, 80. It starts
Right.
at
Right.
30, 40 when you're doing
Right.
more
Yeah.
than that. Yeah.
Just
So
sitting
when
there
it's a
like
long
this,
day at work, I get
all
it.
day.
Okay, you're tired. You want to go and watch TV.
Right.
But what did you do for yourself?
Right.
Because work wasn't it.
Right.
Oh, I went to work, but that wasn't for yourself.
That was just to provide what
That
you're
was
trying
just
to
for
do now.
Right.
Which,
Nice. Wowzers.
Damn.
Yeah. I love that. I love
Keep
that.
some. Feel free to keep some of these nuggets we throwing out to y'all.
Yeah, we're gonna charge
Keep
you. a
those
little bit.
gems. Keep those gems.
So if there was something inspirational that you would say to your younger self, to the 24-year-old version of you, right? That now after these 10 years that you've learned about yourself, what is an inspirational piece, something that you will leave behind to them? It could be like hip hop lyrics, a poem, just something you've learned. Like what do you think that would be if that person
my
was
favorite.
You're looking at the mirror right now
Yeah.
at the 24-year-old Jeff, right? Like what would you tell them?
Nothing's gonna ever happen to you. Things are gonna happen for you.
Things are gonna happen. Explain that.
Like
Come on, a little
with
bit.
things, like when things are gonna come up, and they're not there to break you down or put you away. They're there to build you. You know, the reason I got picked on my first marathon. Like, what happens if I didn't get picked?
Yeah.
Like, you know, there's a reasoning behind it. There was always a reasoning behind everything.
Everything happens for a reason.
Everything
It's not
happens for a
happening
reason.
to you. It's happening for you.
Always. If you
Build
switch that
character.
mentality, okay, this is happening right now, but there's a reason why it's happening. Maybe it could be something, you know, simple, like I got a flat tire. Oh, why is this happening to me? You know, like maybe I avoided a car crash or something like that.
Right.
You know,
Maybe you got to be
but
more patient.
something like that, or just, oh, I didn't get that promotion, but there's a reason. Maybe there was another job opportunity somewhere
Or
else.
you wasn't ready for it, right?
You're not
Yourself,
ready.
right? 'Cause
Exactly.
you didn't prepare enough to get that
Correct.
promotion.
I wouldn't have want
Right,
this
so
life in any other way. Any other way.
You wouldn't change
I am
anything.
so glad, like I'm in this mental state.
No regrets.
No regrets.
Nice.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's so true.
I love it, man.
Yeah.
That's so true. And the
And-
timing, like you said, man, that timing, like you gotta just be. Not everything is made for you at the right time. I think that
Right.
like I've learned that the past couple of years where I was always consistently like rushing through this. I need to get this business done. I need to get this shit like today. Like
Right.
we gotta do it tomorrow. I gotta figure out how to do 55 different things at once.
Yeah.
But it just wasn't the right time for me. It wasn't the right time for you to figure it out. Like
Right.
and now, you
You
know,
wouldn't have been able to handle it, probably.
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So what do you do? So that's something we also talk about here too on the podcast, where it's like there was a moment that we were like afraid of the success of it, right? Because it's like kind of something similar to you. Like I want to ask, I think I kind of want to close on that actually. Like, are you afraid of hitting the goal?
Yeah.
Are you afraid that goalpost is gonna move again?
What happens when you hit Boston?
you like-
that Boston?
What mentally are you ready for that? Like when you hit it, right?
So I thought like a couple years ago that I know once I cross it, that's it. You know, I'll run marathons here and there. But now I'm in a state where it's like, all right, I can either be happy, have a warrior's cry that I finally did it, or I can say, what if we pushed a little harder? What if I can do it faster?
Right.
Fuck,
What if I could do more?
I just
What
got
if I can do
goosebumps
more?
on that one.
What if I could do more at it?
Right?
Right.
So
What
that's
if I
the
could
good
do
thing.
Iron Man?
I can turn around, look at the clock, and be like, okay, I could do it again,
Right. Or I
You
can
know?
do it faster.
or I could do it faster, or this is it. But I don't know. As far as where I'm at right now, like, okay, I know I run marathons, but what else I can do? You know?
Right.
Yeah.
So
What up?
Damn,
I
son.
can't wait to see.
Yeah, word.
yeah, we'll see.
Can't wait to see.
Listen, man.
September 8th, 2 months from now, we'll see.
See,
I
we'll come
wish
back
you,
and hit it up.
I think you're gonna hit it, man. I really, honestly, feel it deep in my soul that you're gonna hit it this time because it seems like you're at a better mental state generally, right?
Yeah.
Like you're better mentally prepared. Whereas before, maybe you were more physically prepared,
Right.
and now you kind of just
need both.
combine the two,
Right, correct.
both,
yeah,
right?
Merge
yeah,
both,
definitely wasn't
mental
ready
and the
for it
physical.
years before.
right?
Yeah.
Where before you were just running on adrenaline,
Adrenaline, just anger.
Right.
Sure,
Yeah.
skill,
anger,
yeah.
right?
God-given
Yeah.
ability because it's still, you.
I used to run I would run as far as where I wasn't angry anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I've been there too in workouts where I'm
It
just working,
sucks.
I'm
It's
pissed
not-
off.
Yeah, don't do
And
that.
I'm like, why am I
Yeah,
doing
you're
this to
hurting
myself?
yourself.
Yeah,
What's
right.
the point?
Yeah.
What is the point of this shit?
Right.
Yeah.
But I was good at it, so I was like, okay,
That's what you
maybe.
need, though.
Yeah,
That's what you
of
knew.
course.
Yeah, and I started the Spartan race in 2012. Because I saw that I was like, all right, I'm a runner.
Yeah.
Well, it's almost like finding a different fuel,
Mm-hmm.
right? To like actually get through it. Like I've been in places too where just playing sports, working out in the gym, being at work, where it's just like I'm using the anger
Mm-hmm.
of like people saying that I can't do this or people saying I'm stupid or something like that. And it's
Right.
like, fuck you,
fuel
I'm gonna
you.
get through
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
right,
And I
exactly.
think that
That's
still
your-
works.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not
that fuel
it.
burns quickly.
Right.
When you're doing it for the right.
It's when you're
doing
going
it-
through it and it sucks and you're still going through it. That's when it's like,
the
okay.
fuel that
Yeah,
that fuel that you
yeah.
built up that is gonna help you get through it
Amazing.
more consistently.
Absolutely.
That's it, man.
Amazing.
That's it right there.
Jeff, man, appreciate you coming out.
Man, this is great.
Appreciate you sharing your story, being
Yeah.
vulnerable. I know it's definitely failure is definitely not an easy
It's not.
thing to be vulnerable with. right?
Yeah, it sucks.
But the fact that you're sitting there looking at yourself in the mirror every single day and being vulnerable with yourself, man, it's an important part of failure and the entire journey of success, man.
Yeah.
So, you got to give yourself a lot of credit, my
yeah.
man.
Because of failure, I'm here.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Again, man, appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you guys for really having me here.
Let's give it
really
up for Jeff,
appreciate
man.
it.
Let's
Yeah,
give it
big
up for
Jeff. Thank you.
Seriously. All right, let me take you out. For Pablo Segarra.
Oh, you spelled my
Jeff-
name right. Awesome.
You want me to say it in Spanish? I'll
Say
say
it
it in
again. No,
Spanish.
say it.
For Pablo Segarra.
Okay,
and
okay,
for
yeah.
Pablo Segarra, Jeff Ramos, Jamal Romero, I'm Carlos Martinez. Remy in the background with the ones and twos. Thanks again for being with us today. Like what we always say, the goal is to inspire one person. And if we've done that, then we are successful in our own right. And I'll leave you guys off with this. It's fine to celebrate successes, but it's even more important to heed the lessons of failure.
Let's get it.
And at the end of the day, fuck it, man. If it fails, fails. See you guys.